The National Security Advisor on Monday met with governors from the 5 Southeast states in Abuja. The governors were led by their Imo State counterpart, Hope Uzodinma, to the closed-door meeting. Now, although the purpose of the meeting was not disclosed to journalists, many watchers believe it had something to do with the 14-day sit-at-home declared in Anambra, Enugu, Abia, Imo, and Ebonyi states by a faction of the banned indigenous people of Biafra. Now, briefing journalists after the meeting, Uzodinma, who doubles as the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, said governors and his colleagues were collectively determined to restore peace in the region. He said they were in Abuja to explore areas of collaboration with the federal government towards addressing the rising spate of insecurity. He said the governors had come to offer to partner with the federal government in a bid to addressing the rising insecurity in the region. Now, discussing this further, we have joining us in the studio Azubiko Joe Uda. He is a Deputy Inspector General of Police, retired, who is definitely a security expert and well as current chairman of the Nigerian Police Force Microfinance Bank. It may be a good place to start with your work at the bank. Before, of course, we'll move on into your thoughts on what is going on concerning security in the Southeast. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Yes, precisely. So can you give us your thoughts generally with the situation in the Southeast and the move by the Southeastern governors? So you can give us a little bit of that premise so we can delve into the conversations.
Okay. You know I'm from the Southeast.
Exactly.
From Abia State particularly. And we are all concerned about what is happening in the Southeast. This thing we are seeing today did not start today. Has been on since the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. It's a good development that we are trying to see now because in the past, the various governors, the 5 governors of the Southeast, they were on their own. They were not synergizing. Even when they made an attempt to synergize by creating the Ebubago. It turned out to be a knee-jerk concept that never worked.
All right, let's come back to this now. We know that these are times that Nigerians need money, and you are the chairman of the board of directors of NPF. That's the Nigeria Police is the police bank actually. Started off as a community bank, but now developing into a microfinance bank. Now, let's talk about the challenges that you've had to face so far, those of indebtedness, because I reckon that giving out loans sometimes for microfinance banks, it's a little bit high. The percentage is a little bit high, from 30% and maybe 25%. So usually the problem of people paying back is what you get to face. How have you been able to deal with that?
Well, the Npf Microfinance Bank, that's the Nigeria Police Force Microfinance Bank, we have been able to cope. When you talk about interests, it depends on the length of the period of repayment. When you take a loan, say, let me give an example. You take a loan of 20 million naira, and it is spread over 5 years. The interest rate is bound to be lower. But when you take loans that span 6 months, 1 year, 18 months, 2 years, something like that, that's most of the loans that the Npf, the microfinance bank gives. It's bound to be higher, and generally, when you are giving loans, you have to properly collateralize it, and I think the Nigeria Police has been doing very well. The monies that are being given, except those that are doing what I may call medium-scale big businesses. We do the proper collateralizing, and we have been doing well and recovering our.
Now,
are they spread across the federation?
All over the country. The Nigeria Police Force Microfinance Bank is a national microfinance bank. You know, they are in categories.
Okay.
This one is a national one. You have the state ones,
Okay.
you have the local government ones, but that of Npf Microfinance Bank is a national microfinance bank,
Bank.
spanning all over the country, all the 36 states and in Abuja. In fact, in Lagos State alone, we have up to 10
branches.
10 branches, and in Abuja about 4 or 5.
Okay, so it's still
in other
coming up,
places. So
because
the
you need to
bank
have
is
a
well
proper-
established all over the country. There is no state capital you don't have them. There are many states that have 2 or 3 branches, and there
Now
are
let's
cash
look at,
centers and.
Let's look at since 1993, when the bank became
Community bank.
a community bank. What are the challenges you've had to face up until now?
Yeah, you have mentioned one, this issue of recovery of loans.
Loans,
But
okay.
What I was trying to say at first is that the threshold of the problem is, the type that is tolerable, and every effort is always made to take care of it. But when the threshold is so high, that is where the bank can start having problems. But generally, the bank is quite efficient in recoveries.
All right.
And,
So you know, when we started off the conversation, we're talking about the situation in the southeast.
yeah.
At the time, you said the bank has its establishments there. You do recall there was a time they were burning most government establishments. Was it affected? Was any of the branches there affected?
Well, the bank, there is no, we have not had any issue of the bank being affected.
Okay.
One thing you should know is that all the banks, including the microfinance bank, they have mobile policemen that are stationed. Some of them may be in uniform, some of them may not be in uniform, and they are all watching. So we have not had the only area we had. The only 2 areas since I became chairman that we have had something like that was when where they were going for escort. They were going to collect some money.
From one of the branches.
From another money deposit bank.
Okay.
And, they were robbed. There was no escort, and we took action about that. Yes. And the same kind of scenario also happened in
There was no escort for the Nigerian police force.
No. Okay, let me tell you something about the bank. The bank's executive and the management, they are made up of pure civilians. No police officer serves with them.
Okay.
So that's what we should know.
Okay.
This is a bank. It's a PLC. It's a public quoted bank in the NGX, and is subjected to supervision and this thing from the CBN, NDIC, Security and Exchange Commission, and so on and so forth. So it's run purely by civilians. The over 800 staff we have there is nobody that is a police officer.
Because the reason I asked was when you say Npf Microfinance Bank, at the time their grounds were with security agencies who they feel are representatives of the Nigerian government. So they were actually targeting most government institutions. Okay, but in terms of awareness, you say it's a public institution, it's a public limited bank, it's a public bank that anyone, whether you're a part of the police force or not, can have access to. You can open your accounts with them just like any other commercial bank. Are the public well oriented about that particular aspect, that they can actually, as an individual, whether they have any affiliation with the Nigerian police, they can go there, open their account, access it, have their ATM cards, and do whatever transaction they want to do there?
Thank you very much. As a microfinance bank, there are a lot of limitations. We do not have the kind of capacity that the deposit money banks, the commercial banks have to make new advertisements and all those. But like we are talking now, it's like any other bank. In fact, is meant for members of the public, and the customers of the bank over is approaching over 3 million customers.
Customer base.
And how many of the customers are police? The only thing is that those serving in the police, those of them that have accounts in the bank, they have that privilege of getting whatever they want, even when they don't have money. You have what they call a salad. They have what they call sharp. You can easily get sharp. You get packages.
Okay, so those are the terms you call those packages.
Yes.
They're quite interesting. Sharp, salad.
So you just go because your salary is in the bank, and when you need any this thing, there are limits, and then you collect it sharp, and you do whatever.
I like the term.
Salad means salary advance.
Oh.
So you just
that's nice,
that.
and
And
I like that.
there are so many. Those ones for education, those ones to establish micro and medium scale, small and medium scale.
So do you grant loans? Because one of the issues that a lot of entrepreneurs are having is, especially with these commercial banks, commercial microfinance banks, is the the collateral that is stipulated for them, whereby they feel that if they start off those businesses, they have to recover. A couple of them do not trust some of these microfinance banks. The collaterals they're asking for could be quite huge compared to the capital they have. So, in that regard, is there a way the Nigerian Police Force Microfinance Bank has been able to distinguish itself from other commercial banks in granting easy loans to those who intend to set up their own businesses?
That's what I am driving at. It is easier for you to get micro loans from the microfinance bank, particularly the Nigerian Police, if you are a customer of the bank. For example, if you are a worker, if your salary is domiciled with the bank, you are okay.
Now let me
if you are a business person and you maintain an account in the bank and you want any loan, the bank, one of the things the bank authorities will check is how you operate in your account.
Okay.
And,
you
can easily get your loan.
How frequent money comes in and goes out of
Exactly.
your
account.
Exactly.
Wow. And then from what period? For example, if I decide to open an account with them now, am I eligible to get a loan?
Yeah, if you open an account now, it will take some time. They will, like I said, they will watch out how you are operating the account in the next 6 months or something like that.
Then I can become eligible. Wow,
exactly.
That's good.
Yes.
That's very good.
Now let's talk about perception. The name Npf Microfinance Bank, how has it affected the perception of the public wanting to come bank with the bank?
The perception of the public
before now,
like you raised earlier on, is that the bank is meant for the Nigerian police. But that's
able to deal with that.
So that's what we have been doing. We keep on letting people know about it. And who are the people that do this? They are our marketers and the workers in the bank, because more often than not they are sent into the markets, they are sent into the business areas to let them know, look, this is not this is a public company and it is not meant for Nigeria police alone. After all, the strength of the police is less than 400,000. And yet, we have over 3 million.
Now, tell us about the thoughts, the thoughts behind the establishment of the bank. What was on the minds of those that established it?
That's the initial concept of the bank.
The Nigeria Police has what we call the Nigeria Police Cooperative Society.
Okay.
This thing was copied from Malaysia by one of the IGs of the past, and then also the Nigeria Police has what is called Nigeria Police Welfare Insurance Scheme. The Nigeria Police Cooperative Society has been doing well, because even policemen, they make their savings there. You can save, you can collect your money anytime you want. And even if you don't collect at the end of your service, or if there is any unfortunate happenstance about that person, all accumulated money will be paid to the family,
Okay.
and so on and so. So the MPF, the Police Cooperative Society, they have been doing very well, and that's why, informing the community bank, they were the major financiers, and including the insurance scheme, the police insurance scheme, because policemen also contribute to that. This thing. This thing was copied from Egypt. They have a similar something. I think it was during the time of Inspector General Police Aliyu Atta.
Okay.
He was the pioneer and founder of the Nigeria Police Community Bank. And since then, the bank has been doing well.
Okay.
By the time I became the chairman of the bank, of the board, we had just like 13 branches. That's why I'm saying, as at now, we are having about 50 branches and 17 cash centers and so on and so forth. And we have been building the bank through what we call 3 years strategic plans, which we has been following through. And we are also on the trajectory to become a deposit money bank too. Yes.
And how soon do you intend to make that possible? How soon would that become realistic?
It has been, the plan has been on. It's just a matter of raising the required funds, that will qualify you to become a money deposit bank. Because we already, when you check the assets and the position of the bank, it is the bank is on a very good standing to transmit into.
And funds are well secure in these banks. Customers can go home, sleep. That's whatever fund they have deposited in the bank or kept in the bank is safe.
The bank has a very robust board, made up of 11 members of the board, and these people, as we work assiduously together with those of them that are in the executive and management to make sure that, in fact, there are so many things that are unique to the bank. For example, the person that is the managing director and CEO of the bank, Mr. Ake Lawa, is one of the. He started his career from the bank as an admin officer, and so ditto for the executive directors, and so we have good stability. These people are trained and they follow the trajectory as the bank is doing going well.
All right. So now we know it's a salary account for some people. A lot of people chose the bank as their salary account. But complaints that I have heard is the fact that sometimes when salaries are paid, people that bank with other banks tend to get theirs before those that bank with the Npf MFB. It takes a week or more for them to get their salaries into the month. Why was that, and what has changed?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question, because that had constituted a perennial problem for the bank for the past, say, 5 years. But it has been solved. It has been solved in the sense that the Inspector General Police himself, because the people that were mainly affected are the Nigeria Police personnel, who are banking with the bank. By the time salaries are paid, you can receive your salary if you are not with the bank from other banks. So what we now identified what was causing the delay. The present way of paying federal government workers is through what we call IPPS.
IPPIS, yes.
IPPIS. So apart from the IPPS releasing, the salaries for payment, what used to cause the delay in the police is that there is also an intervening variable that this thing has to pass through that app.
Okay.
That app is the one that causes the delay. So the Inspector General of Police was so concerned about it. We were very much concerned about it, and we were trying to handle it. But the Inspector General of Police called, the, invited members of the board to complain about the welfare of the Nigerian police, their salary delays, because they will receive their salaries after the end of the month. But it's no more like that today. So we had to explain to him, these are the problems, these are the problems. So he had to summon the budget department of the police, those that are in charge of all these salaries, something, and they were able to solve it, to eliminate that obstacle, that intervening variable. So as of now, the Nigeria police receive their salaries.
But the RPUs is still the same, or you got a new RP?
Yeah, I'm a retired DIG. I receive my pensions from the police too. So once those it's even our money that come, our pension money that come almost the last. No, last.
Okay.
And I have already received my July before before the end of the month.
So that obstacle has been eliminated.
It has been eliminated.
It doesn't have to go through that supposed check anymore.
Exactly. It's not a check. It's a consultant. That has been. It has to pass through that place, and before the money reaches the bank, it will be delayed.
Delayed. Oh, I see. Okay.
Now we do know that. Let's talk about the pensions now, because you, as one of those that collect pensions from the Npf. Now we do know that in 2015 there was a court case of 5.32 billion naira pension money taken. Tell us how that affected the pensioners, and what other measures have been put in place so that such things do not reoccur, where police pensioners in particular now, can have easy access to their pensions.
Well, as at that time, the police had not had what we call the Nigeria Police Pension Commission. We have the Nigeria Police has what we call pension house. So all those things are processed in synergy with the Nigeria Pension Commission.
Okay.
So, but during that time, the issue of pensions, it did not affect the police. The only problem then was that the pension money that the Nigeria police retirees get is nothing to write home about. It's still a problem now, because some of there are those of us that are satisfied, but there are those that are not satisfied. For example, the inspector, somebody who rose to become an inspector general of police, can go with his salary.
Can go with his salary.
Yes.
When you say go with his salary, like leave the whatever.
That is when you retire.
When you retire.
Because in the past, all these senior officers, they just die in penury. Some of them were receiving nothing.
But do you think that there is what they call bureaucracy, politics in bureaucracy? For example, possibly only those who are the higher echelon of the Nigerian police force get their pensions on time, compared to others who are at the possible lower cadre.
No, they all get. The only problem there is the amount that is paid to them.
Okay.
And that is, these things are being worked out. Let me use myself as an example. When I retired as a Deputy Inspector General of Police and I started receiving my pension, what I was receiving was, in today's Nigeria, it cannot even be enough for me to fuel my car for 1 week.
Wow.
So, but the previous president of Nigeria, that's Buhari, was the one that approved that when he saw this, that the Inspector General of Police, the DIG, the AIGs, they should go with their salaries.
All right. So, but then beyond the challenges that you mentioned, there's a sense of, will I say, lack of public trust on the Nigerian police force. And possibly a lot of people have this perception, like Moses asked you earlier, that it's just a bank meant for the Nigerian police. So in terms of sensitization, although you said that because there are limitations for microfinance banks to actually advertise about it, what are the major steps you've taken to create that sense of awareness that this is beyond the Nigerian police force? Is it civilian bank? Any individual who intends to open a bank account with the microfinance bank of the Npf can do so with no hassles?
No, we have, apart from, I have told you that we have marketers that go into the market to tell them about the bank, that it is not a police bank alone. Another thing is that it's not as if we don't know. We have been having handouts and all those other things. But I think the most important thing that we have to back up on now is to get radio, television, and other media
Channels.
Well, that's why we're here for you. We are the voice of the people.
Exactly, so that we can do adverts
Yes.
that will let people know that these things are very, that in the bank is like any other bank.
Is the bank utilizing social media platforms? Because those ones, whether you like it or not, even if you do not go through the terrestrial radio or television stations, these ones, once you populate it, anyone who is on that platform can have access to.
We have been doing that, but intermittently, but not as I should be. That's the point I am trying to make.
Why isn't it so?
I've told you that there is a limit to when you are doing the adverts. The adverts cost a lot of money. Because if you are doing if you want to do these things, you have to make it do it continuously. So it is already in our books that we are going to do that, but we have not started.
On social media, is that what you're referring to? That is quite expensive.
I'm not talking about social media.
Okay.
Because in the social media, if you go to the social media and you Google this thing, Npf Microfinance Bank, you will see a lot of information.
So what I'm trying to ask
what
is,
I'm saying is, you have the radio stations, you have the TV stations. I think more people, get impressions, better impressions on these other, multimedias.
Okay, the reason why I'm specifically asking is that a lot of corporate organizations, no matter how big they are, and like you rightly said, most of the terrestrial radio and television stations can be quite expensive, but they utilize mobile platforms and social platforms like Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook. That's basically what I was asking.
Okay.
In these cases, on social platforms, there are no censoring, there are no prohibitions. You put your thing and populate it whichever way you want to go about it, and anyone who has a platform or a channel on those media handles can actually, it just pops up. You see, that's basically the question I'm asking, that in that level has the company grown to understand that in order for them to rank up with this day and age, to be part of putting their company in the faces of their proposed customers, these are the measures they need to implement. So are they looking towards that?
We have looked into that, and I think we have to reinforce it to make sure that we achieve our aim of letting the people know about the bank.
All right. So the branch out of Balinde, I know there's a very big building right there in Balinde. That should be the headquarters of the branch. Now, have you reached out to the market women in Lagos Island, Sangros, and all that to give them soft loans? Because I know that will be one other way to attract more customers to the bank. And what's the customer base? Do you have the figures right now, currently, the customer base?
Okay, like I told you, the customer base is over 3 million.
Over 3 million?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that could be better, though.
Yeah. Initially, because by the time the bank became...
50 branches, you said?
Yes.
50 branches nationwide?
Nationwide, yes.
A little over 3 million. Okay, that's that could be improved upon.
Initially, the bank, like I said, that's part of the strategic plans normally map out to grow the customer base. Because if you don't grow the customer base, then the bank will continue to remain a state.
All right, so let's give you the opportunity to address members of the public now. If you want to tell them anything at all about the bank, and you want them to come and bank with Npf MFB,
Yes.
what would you tell the public? Let's give you the
Yes,
voice.
yes. As the chairman of the board of directors of Npf Microfinance Bank, I want to let members of the public know that the Nigeria Police Microfinance Bank is a public company quoted in the Nigeria Stock Exchange (NGX), and it's regulated by the CBN and other regulators. Whoever banks with the bank, your money is safe and secure. The bank is not meant for police people alone. It is a public bank. And in fact, the customer base is over 3 million all over the federation. We have branches in about 50, we have about 50 branches all over, spread all over the country. There is no state that doesn't have a branch or two. In Lagos here, we have up to 10 branches, including cash centers. We give micro, small, we give the Npf Microfinance Bank give micro, small, medium scale enterprises. We give them, we make available loans to them. Once you have an account with the bank, you are entitled to that.
All right.
For those of you that are working, you can open your salary account with the Nigeria Police Microfinance Bank, and you will be entitled to all the opportunities that exist in the bank for you, for your welfare. You can take loans, you can take salary advance, that is called salary. You can take sharp anytime you want. You can enter the bank and ask for any amount of money that is commensurate with the kind of salary that you receive.
Okay.
The bank is secure, like I said before. You have no fear about your money being embezzled or anything like that.
It is secure.
The bank is properly regulated, and it has a board that is supervising the management and the executives that are running the bank.
All right then. Thank you very much. Retired DIG Azubuko Joel Uda, Esquire MNI. Thank you very much for coming on the program. So there you have it. It's you can go ahead and bank with Npf Microfinance Bank. It's a bank for everybody, and they have over 3 million customer base, and they are growing. They are growing. Now is even the time to jump on board.
Exactly.
Because now they will pay attention to each person.
Exactly. it's now beyond having to grow their customer base. I think this time around they're building that community, the family.
Yes,
it's now all more encompassing compared to how it used to be before. So I think this time around, public trust shouldn't be faltered. They've told you all the regulations are in place, all that is required is on ground. So you just chip in with just 2,000 naira, right? You can start off with that particular account. Any of the branches across the country, 2,000 naira, you're good to go. And
Zubuke Uda is the chairman of the board of directors, Npf Microfinance Bank. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into business, sports, and entertainment. Stay with us.